That was a little slow, but we are now recording, and I will share my screen and we'll start looking at what you need to do this week and what you did last week. Okay, as always, if you have a question, you're happy to share it, then type it into the chat bar, okay, which should be over there somewhere. With the what I'll do is once I've finished sharing my screen, I'll answer any questions. Just a quick reminder though, anybody who sends me a private message through the chat bar, this is being recorded. So anybody who watches the recording will see your private message. If you want to send me a private message, it's better to do it by sending me an email through Schoology later. Alright, so as you can see on our Schoology page, okay, there is now a folder which has all of the quarter 2 activities in it, okay? So for quarter 2, you come to the yellow folder and click on here. If you need to go and look at anything that was done in quarter 1, it's all being kept in here. Okay, but for now, let's have a look in the quarter 2 online folder. Okay, so last week you did this, and this week you'll be doing this. So let's have a look first at what you did last week. Okay, here were the instructions. Last week you did a quizzes activity where we introduced the story message to you. Then there was a textbook Schoology activity, which was the one that you would have seen in the quarter 2 week 1 folder. And then the big one, you had to record your favorite restaurant on Flipgrid. Now we'll look at all 3 of these in a moment. But first of all, the quiz is, now with the idea with the story message is the story message part of a presentation is the structure of a presentation. The key concept is that people like stories. Okay, stories are enjoyable, so people will watch your presentation with more interest if you tell it like a story. And also, stories provide structure so that your presentation and stories are easier to remember. And so a story has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And just like a story, your presentation should have an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. So last week, the idea was to have a look at those 3 different parts of the story message. Now the quiz was meant to be done after reading your textbook. Okay, so you should have opened your textbook, read through pages 59, I think it was, to 56 to 59. And you can do the quizzes activity with the textbook open, of course. So let's have a look and see how you all did. Okay, this was the story message quizzes activity. Okay, 38 students have completed it. Just a reminder with quizzes, I have to set an end date to be able to assign it. If you miss that date, it's very difficult for me to assign it again. So basically do it by 9 o'clock Wednesday morning or you can't do it. And it will count towards your grade a little bit. Okay, so these people have all done it. Okay, well done. Right down at the bottom, if you see your name here, then you haven't done it, or you maybe have 2 quizzes accounts and you've done it but under a different name. So Rio, for example, you have done it, but you have 2 accounts. Now, the questions that I've asked in the quizzes, all of them are asked with the goal of trying to guide you towards the key points in the textbook, okay? So I'm asking questions hoping that by looking for those answers, it'll help you understand the key ideas, in this case, of the structure of the story message. Okay, so that was the quizzes activity you had to do last week. Okay. Oh, get out of the way. Right. And we'll have a look at what you have to do this week. Okay, then the Schoology activity was in the week 1 folder, and it was this, using presentation structure. Again, this was straight out of the textbook. You could do the textbook activity first, then come in and check. But I'll put the audio into the activity. Now, the audio is actually meant to be done after you have tried to rearrange the structure. But if you listen to the audio first, everybody should have got 100%. Okay? And the key point with this is that every presentation has 3 parts. Okay? It has 3 parts. It has the introduction, it has the body, it has the conclusion, and you just had to identify those 3 parts. The third part of the last week's activity was the flip grid. And what I'm going to do is we'll come back to the flip grid in a minute, because this week you're going to do one extra thing. You're going to give each other feedback on the flip grid. So we'll have a look at that in a moment. And we'll move to what you need to do this week. Okay? So this is the week 2, quarter 2, week 2 folder. Sorry, these are the instructions pages. I'll show you the folder so you can see what else is in there. There is another Schoology activity, but this one focuses on introductions, okay? The introduction part of the story message. Always read the instructions, okay? It may have something in here that isn't elsewhere. So this week, again, you will be doing the quizzes, another quizzes activity, and this time you'll be focusing on the introduction part of a presentation. You'll do that textbook Schoology activity that I showed you in a minute, and I will explain in more detail in a moment. And that, again, is looking at the introduction part of the story message. And then with the flipgrid activity that you have done, you are going to go and read some other, or sorry, not read, you're going to watch your classmates' presentations, and then you're going to say which of those restaurants you think you would like to go and visit, okay? Okay, now the lesson schedule has changed. Okay, I mentioned last week that I was thinking about putting in a presentation. I decided that it would be useful for you to have a presentation, something that you can work on over 3 or 4 weeks and practice all of the presentation skills that we are learning each week. And so starting from next week, we'll be looking at a final presentation. Okay, so in blue, okay, there will be 4 parts to actually creating your presentation, and then you will record your presentation on Flipgrid. So next week, you will choose a topic. Okay, you have 3 possible choices, actually maybe 4 possible choices, and then you'll start planning it. And so I'll explain that in a lot more detail next week, just to let you know that that is going to happen. There will be a final presentation. Okay, as always, our WebEx meeting today will be recorded, is being recorded, it'll be uploaded, and the link will be put here once it's all done. So this week, you have a quizzes activity to do. There are 11 questions. Do the activity with the textbook open, okay? You're looking at pages 62 to 63. You can read them first and then do the quizzes. You can only do the quizzes activity once, same as last time, okay? But at the end, you will be given the answers, okay? So you can see what the answers should be. Then the second part is actually identifying the different parts of the introduction, okay? And there are 4 questions aimed at doing that. You need to read through pages 64 and 65, okay, because they are the 2 tasks on those 2 pages that you'll be doing, but you'll be doing through Schoology forum, and I'll just show you what they look like. Okay, so it's this one here. Make sure you read the introduction. Okay, so the introduction part of the story message is made up of those 3 parts. Okay, the greeting, or 4 parts, I beg your pardon. The greeting, the what, the why, and the overview. Each part has a different purpose in the information that it gives to the audience. You're going to answer 4 questions, okay, from those 2 pages, and hopefully by answering those questions, it'll help you understand what the purpose of each part of that introduction actually is. All right, you can only do this once, so you can do the one in the textbook first. Okay, the first one, how to recognize introductory phrases. Okay, so what you need to do is listen to the speech by Dr. Gord. Fill in the blanks. All right, it's not that hard. He speaks quite slowly. You can play it as many times as you want to. So fill in the blanks, and then you won't be able to see your answers until the end. But when you do the next question, you'll be okay. The next question, you have to identify those 4 parts. Okay, the next question is a matching question. It's got parts of the actual speech. And then you see there's the greeting, the what, the why, and the overview. You just need to drag it and say which part each of those parts of the speech are. It's really aimed at getting you to understand what the greeting is, what the what is, what the why is, and what the overview is. Okay, and then same thing. This one is very similar. In this case, it's a speech about, it's the introduction to a speech about going on holiday on the Caribbean Queen. All right, you just need to move these into the correct sequence, correct order. That's the first part. And then, again, match the greeting, the what, the why, and the overview to each part of that speech. You can review it before you submit, and then it will give you the answers at the end. Okay? The whole point of this activity is to try and get you to understand the different parts of the introduction. All right, so that's we'll come back to the instructions. Okay, so you have done the quizzes, you have done the Schoology activity. So now you give feedback to each other about your My Favorite Restaurant speeches. Okay, so let's have a look. There is a link in the week 2 instruction page. Okay, the link is here. Now the link is to the same flip grid that you have already recorded your speeches on. When you click on this, you should come straight to this page. Yasana, I beg your pardon, I used your student number, okay, just to get in so I could show you what it looks like for a student, okay, because the teacher's page looks quite different, so showing you that doesn't really help. All right, again, the outline of the presentation, the example that I gave you, and here's the cool bit, okay? These are all your presentations. Now, you guys have done a really good job of your cover screen. It was meant to be a selfie, but I actually prefer what you've done. Okay, some of you have been very creative. It looks fantastic. What you are going to do now, though, okay, what you are going to do now, oh, that looks really good. You are going to watch 6 other people's presentations. All right. Where are we? Is that the week 1? Oh, week 2. Yeah, good. You're going to watch 6 other presentations. Now, minimum of 6. You can watch more if you want to. Okay, you can watch them all if you want to. But the idea is watch at least 6. the ones that you watch, all right, put a like on them. Oh, that's my teacher's page. That's the one that doesn't really work. So for example, let's look at Fuka because she's number 1 on the list there. Okay, Fuka, thank you. And we'll give you a like. So when you watch somebody's video, give them a like. And then after you have watched at least 6 My Favorite Restaurant talks, I want you to choose the one restaurant that you would most like to go and eat at. Okay, which one do you think looks the best, or has the best food, or is the most interesting? And then go to that person's presentation. Okay, so for example, if it was Fuka's, you would come here and record a reply and explain to the person why you chose their restaurant. Okay? So come here after you've watched 6, at least 6. Okay, give them a like and a short reply. Tell them why you chose their restaurant. Now with this activity, where are we? There. Okay, with this activity, thank you, Fuka. I'll just close that one. Please don't do the first 6 and then stop. Try to spread it out, okay? Try to make sure we want everybody's restaurants to have been looked at least by 1 person or 2 people. So look at 6 other restaurants and then choose the one that is your favorite of those 6 or more. Okay, leave likes on every restaurant that you looked at, but leave 1 comment on the one that you chose as the best restaurant. Okay? So that's what you need to do for this week. But as always, go to the homework summary and just check that you have done everything. So for this week, quizzes, pages 62 to 63. The Schoology assessment, okay? Practice pages 64 and 65. My favorite restaurant, feedback on Flipgrid. Remember, at least 6. Choose, leave a like on every video that you watch, but choose 1 and leave a message on that one explaining why you think their restaurant is the best. Okay, that's it for this week. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Now, are there any questions about what you need to do? Nope. Okay, excellent. If you have a question and you want to ask me later, just send me an email. Otherwise, take care, everybody. Okay, coronavirus looks like it's coming back a little bit, so I'd avoid nightclubs if I were you, and definitely stay away from your grandparents if you love them. And stay dry and stay safe. I'll see all of you next week. Okay, see you. I'm going to stop recording now.